Altos is brought to you with the kind compliments of Rituals Coffee House.
Good evening and welcome to Altos, a weekly news and current affairs program produced by the Catholic News and broadcast here on Trinity TV and on TTT. I'm Neil Parsonlal. Here's a look at this week's top stories. Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon wants Catholics to stop criticizing the Pope. He says it's hurting the Church. A priest challenges Roman Catholic schools to become the spiritual food basket that produces men and women of faith. Devotions to La Divina Pastoral begin, and Father Jesse Mengo encourages Catholics to imitate Mary, our Mother of Hope. And later, we speak with Sharon Inglefield of Arrive Alive on road deaths, and we will tell you how to stay safe on the roads as we approach the festive season. And now for our top story. Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon is advising Catholics not to believe lies circulating online and to desist from criticizing the Holy Father. He was speaking at the 173rd anniversary of the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception and Feast of St. John Lateran Basilica in Rome. Laura Pickford Gordon prepared this report for us.
Archbishop Gordon said one of the things which is part of the Catholic tradition is reverence and love for the Holy Father. This has to be an essential part of the Catholic life as he is the first among all of the bishops. The criticisms are coming from people who regard themselves as super Catholics, but are doing damage to the fabric of the Church.
To speak negatively about him, to speak in derogatory terms, no. That is not to be Catholic. That is actually to end up in a sin of judgment, a sin of detraction, a sin of really not being charitable to the man that God has chosen to lead the Church in this time.
Pope Francis is leading the Church through a transformation that many are not happy with, and they are trying to shoot the messenger.
And so I want to make an appeal to you, please. No negativity on the Holy Father. None. People are doing that, do not understand what he is doing. And they do not understand why God chose this man. We have to trust that God chose this man.
The day of the dedication of the cathedral was changed by the late Archbishop Anthony Pantin to the feast day of the Archbasilica of St. John Lateran in Rome. Archbishop Gordon explained the significance of the observance.
John Lateran is the mother of all churches in the world. Just like this cathedral is the mother of all the churches in Trinidad and Tobago, in Port of Spain, when I'm sitting on the chair, I am sitting in my role as bishop, exercising authority over the whole of Trinidad and Tobago. When the Pope needs to make an official statement ex cathedra from the chair, he goes to Lateran Basilica.
I am Laura Pickford Gordon for Catholic News, Altos.
Altar servers have been encouraged to embrace daily sacrifice, offer help wherever possible, and make a difference in the lives of others. That challenge came from Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon, the chief celebrant and homilist at the annual Thanksgiving Mass for altar servers at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception last Sunday. In his homily, Archbishop Gordon stated that being an altar server is special and urged altar servers to be like the widow in the Sunday's Gospel who gave all she had. After the homily, altar servers recommitted themselves to serving the Church, reciting the altar server pledge. Before the final blessing, Vocations Director for the Archdiocese, Father Kenwin Sylvester, invited the young men and women to consider the priesthood and religious life. The Mass was organized by the Archdiocese of Port of Spain Altar Servers Council. And there's a challenge to Roman Catholic schools to do more to encourage the students under their care to value the importance of vocations in the Church. Delivering the homily at a special Mass to honor the foundress of St. Joseph's Convent, San Fernando, Father Jason Grell said Catholic schools must become the spiritual food basket that produces men and women of faith. As Roger Sand tells us in this report, he says without this grounding, we can continue to expect foreign priests to be conducting our masses.
Lord, I give you my heart, I give you my soul.
The choir comprised the students of St. Joseph's Convent and Presentation College, San Fernando, at a special Mass last Friday in honor of the Blessed Foundress Anne-Marie Javohe and the congregation that she founded, the Sisters of Cluny. Students of St. Joseph's Convent put on a short skit highlighting Anne-Marie's call to do God's will.
Anne-Marie's prayer would lead her to found the congregation of St. Joseph of Cluny, a religious order dedicated to serving the poor and marginalized.
Delivering the homily, parish priest Father Jason Grell said he has noticed that the Cluny sisters in San Fernando have been repeating calls for religious vocations. He challenged the teachers at Catholic schools to make Catholic schools a spiritual food basket.
If we don't get young men to go to the seminary, what's going to happen? The church will still continue, but with foreigners. If no young boy wants to be a priest in Trinidad, everybody will come from Africa, and everybody will come from India, and everybody will come from the Philippines. Do things to ensure that girls think about the vocation, because it doesn't make sense that every year you have about 500 girls getting out of this college and not one thinking about going to the convent. Something is wrong.
Father Jason urged the students to ask themselves some questions as he encouraged them to seek to live in God's grace and friendship.
What is your purpose? Who are you? Who am I? Do you know who you are? What is your relationship with God? Do you know who God is? Do you have a relationship with Jesus? Who are you?
He said God is calling us to look at ourselves.
When we hate, when we lack love, when we cannot forgive, when we are bullying each other, we are messing up each other.
I'm Roger Sant reporting for Catholic News Altos.
Father Peter Saint-Hilaire, a member of the clergy team of the Sangre Grande Choral cluster, has been reassigned to Tobago. At a farewell mass for Father Peter, he thanked the people of Sangre Grande for helping to shape him to do God's work. Chanel Bethel Peters has more in this report.
The parish of St. Francis of Assisi in Sangre Grande said goodbye to Father Peter Saint-Hilaire last Sunday, 15 months after he was assigned to the parish.
On behalf of this Sunday morning worshiping community, we really want to thank you for all that you have been. Every morning when we come to Mass, whenever Father is here, you can look forward for a real reflective, personal experience, but a true breaking of the word. And it is really appreciated and it goes well noticed. And we thank you very much for your service, for your answering God's call. And that as you move forward, that God may really clear a path for you, that as you go across to the sister aisle, that you will meet with workers who will work with you, that you will meet with a parish that will warmly welcome you, protect you, guide you, and surround you with prayer.
Father Peter said after serving here for 15 months, he felt as if he had now started to settle down.
But I want to thank you, people of God, for really helping shaping me to become the priest I am today in the last 15 months. Because it's the people of God who help shape us, brothers and sisters. I mean, we have those who will help us to laugh, those who will encourage us to pray, and those who sometimes want to tell them, you know, where to get off from. But even that is helping form me as a priest.
He is hoping that although he is being reassigned, he can return at least sometimes, since he said this was the parish that helped him to grow. He urged the community to pray for him, assuring them he will continue praying for them.
Father Peter has been reassigned to Tobago from this weekend. The former parish priest in Tobago, Father Leslie Tankai, has been reassigned to the Church of the Assumption in Maraval. I am Chanel Bethel Peters, reporting for Catholic News, Altos.
And we wish both priests success in their new ministry. In this Jubilee year, our pilgrim church is being called to renew its faith and hope in Jesus, having a boundless faith as Mary did. The call came on Sunday from Father Jesse Mengo at the start of the 2024-25 La Divina Pastoral devotions. As Roger Sand tells us in this report, Father Jesse spoke on the theme Mary, Mother of all Pilgrims of Hope. Here's Roger.
Father Jesse Mengo described Mary as the mother of hope, a hope which he said she exemplified throughout her life from the moment she said yes to God at the Annunciation, throughout Jesus' life to his crucifixion, death on the cross, and his resurrection. And in this Jubilee year, he said, we as Roman Catholics are called, like Mary, to be pilgrims of hope. He encouraged the faithful to have hope as Mary did, saying that we must not place our hope in money, politics, technology, medicine, or any other earthly things.
Every one of those things, technology, politics, medicine, business, economy, whatever, they come and go. It's unstable.
Father Jesse said, as people of hope, we must spend the time in prayer at the feet of the Blessed Sacrament. He also reminded Catholics that we find our greatest hope in the Eucharist, and that, he said, is why when we come to the Eucharist, we are called to have the faith of Mary, to look beyond what looks like bread and wine and see Jesus. I'm Roger Sant reporting for Catholic News Altos.
It's always a challenge to instill proper values, virtues, and principles in children. Father Mark Georges is proposing a different approach through his new book. Editor Raymond Sims has more in this report.
An Introduction to Anthropology of Integration is a new book by Father Mark Georges to help parents, guardians, teachers, and educators pass on proper values to young people. It's a book that anyone can use.
But let me say, it is not a religious work, okay? That this book was actually fruit of a lot of time spent working with young people, bringing out the best in them. And young people have many challenges. And I came to realize that we need a new approach to transmitting character.
Father Mark, who belongs to the Opus Dei prelature, said at the November 9th launch that a new approach was needed and explained the strategy.
So we need a new approach where, rather than telling people what to do, we try to help them to see it and discover it for themselves. And this is where the book speaks about a new strategy, which is based on 3 principles. And these are knowing, accepting, and doing.
He emphasized the need for adults to change the script to reach today's young people, and he spoke of his hope for the book.
Hope is that this book will help parents to be more effective in transmitting character to their children.
The launch was hosted by Communities Alive, a non-profit company which aims to help schools in the implementation of effective programs for educating in citizenship, health, and family life. Communities Alive is affiliated with Alive to the World International. Its founder, Christine de Marcellus Volmer, sent greetings by video. Tonya Gooding of Communities Alive TT provided an update of the work the organization is doing. I am Raymond Sims for Catholic News Altos.
And we congratulate Father Mark on his new book. It's time now for us to take a short break. And when we return, we speak with Sharon Inglefield of Arrive Alive on what's happening on our nation's roads. Before we go, here's a look at this week's trivia question.
So ultimately, we all play a major part in our own safety and the safety of others. So we need to just be mindful and do whatever we can to arrive alive. So my name is Jason Williams, also known as JW. Once it's happening and you want to create a memory, I will come in, just turn the event into something magical. Just like when I'm in the road and I wait for a signal, I try to also give a physical signal or a verbal signal to someone who's crossing. Hey, you could cross, or flick the lights. We all know that flick of the lights means you get in a blind, you could move across. So it's an interaction, and you must be aware at all times as to what's happening, because at any moment something could come up, and if you're not prepared, it can end up in a disaster and stress and loss of life. And you don't really want that on your legacy, on your heart, on your, you don't want that heaviness on you. Don't do anything out there to perplex your tranquility and endanger others and yourself. Drive within the speed limit. Look out for fellow pedestrians and motorists. Be your brothers and sisters' keeper. And just arrive alive. Simple, simple, you know, and you're good to go. Yeah? Let's make it happen for this year and beyond. Arrive alive.
And we thank JW and Buddy for that interesting information. As of yesterday, November 14th, 97 persons have lost their lives on the roads of Trinidad and Tobago. That's an 8% increase over the last year. We have on set with us today Sharon Inglefield, who is the president of Arrive Alive. Sharon, welcome to the set. It's good to have you. It's a pity this is what we're talking about this morning. It's something that is entirely avoidable, yes?
Certainly, preventable and avoidable. Thank you for having us on your program.
The data is telling us that there has been an increase in road fatalities. We have 97 persons, there's an 8% increase. What are you attributing that to?
Many different factors. We have practiced bad behavior, unsafe road behavior, careless behavior for far too long. So even though we have crosswalks and pedestrian crossings, a lot of our pedestrians are still crossing the highways, which is very, very concerning, and I often wonder if it's due to impairment, because to cross 6 lanes of highway is quite amazing. I mean, it's just bizarre behavior, so that I often wonder if it's a social issue. It is very, very important that we change our behavior, that our culture changes. Very difficult to change adult behavior. But we need to realize that, we have loved ones waiting for us at home, and to please use the pedestrian crossings and the crossovers. I also appeal to our leaders, the Ministry of Works and Transport in particular, that, it's a proven fact. The research has shown that good infrastructure, safe infrastructure changes behavior. And therefore, often I see mothers walking in the roads because we have manholes in our pavements that are open, we have bush, we have rubble on our pavements. We need to provide our pedestrians with good infrastructure to go from home to work, from home to school and back safely. We cannot be pushing our pedestrians into the roadway, which encourages, of course, unsafe travel and safe transportation. It's the same as the cyclists. In the old days, we had many, many cyclists on our nation's roads. I've certainly seen more and more cyclists manning the street as well, particularly where I live, going to work. We need to provide them with safe transport to and from work and school. We need to make sure we not only provide the infrastructure, that we educate our road users. We educate them in our schools, we educate them in our universities, we educate them at home. Arrive Alive is in the 3 schools a week, educating our young people, because we realize that hopefully the young people will educate their parents and their grandparents that are taking them to and from school. So we need to be good role models. We need to make sure that we are doing the right things as drivers, that we're not talking on our cell phones, we're not distracted, we're not impaired, we're not under the influence of alcohol. We're not
in any way.
Exactly.
Right. So you said a lot, so there's a lot to unpack there. Of the 97 persons who have lost their lives on our roads so far for the year, 44 of those are, in fact, pedestrians.
Exactly.
That's an increase as well.
A huge increase.
You mentioned that we have the walkovers and persons, and it's just unfathomable that persons are trying to cross 6 lanes of highway. We talk about behavior change. How is Arrive Alive working towards that behavior change? What are you doing? We know it's education. What is Arrive Alive doing to educate the population more in terms of better road traffic and road safety for that matter.
So it's a lot of advocacy. Just partnering with the media is a big deal. Going into the schools, educating pedestrians to make sure that they understand what it is when you're crossing the road, the responsibility they have as a road user to look right, left, and right again before you step off that pavement, before you step into traffic. Make eye contact with the driver. Wear bright clothes. If you looked at that advert JW had on a bright Arrive Alive jersey, try not to wear dark colors, black in particular. You fade into the environment. We need to wear bright colors, and when you're out there at night, make sure that you have a light on you. Make sure that you understand that you need to cross on a pedestrian crossing. We have too many pedestrians who still have that bounce bidong attitude, and that must change, because if it doesn't change, you lose your life.
And part of that attitudinal change, and you mentioned the calypso, Chalky's calypso, well, bounce me now. That is an attitude that we have, that is pervasive throughout Trinidad and Tobago. And people see the walkovers as more an inconvenience than a safety measure. Is there something we can do to really make that connection to people, that the time you take or the time you save in trying to cross the highway might really be the time you take to save your life?
Absolutely, and therefore we encourage the pedestrians to use those very expensive walkovers. We're also appealing to the ministry to put railings like they have in the first world countries. So you have railings that guides the pedestrian traffic to the walkover. So in fact, they cannot run across a highway. They cannot run across 4 lanes or 6 lanes of traffic. So those railings are very important. Signage, read the signs so that you know that there's a pedestrian walkover not too far down the road. You know, exercise is so good for us. So let's walk to that pedestrian crossing. We want to be healthy. We want to have less heart disease and less diabetes in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's walk to that pedestrian crossing as part of our daily routine of exercise. So I think it's all important that education and changing the mindset of a pedestrian is important, but it's also coupled with providing them with the respect that they deserve. We have become very car-centric. So today I appeal to all drivers. Your life changes when someone dies on our nation's roads, when someone is killed on our nation's roads. We cannot take up the attitude that we own the roads as drivers. We don't. We have to have respect for cyclists. We have to have respect for pedestrians and motorcyclists. In the first world countries, we do the right thing, and we are well traveled as a population. In the first world countries, you see cyclists that in some cases don't even wear helmets. And you have tour buses, you have trucks on the same road, you have drivers in private cars, and they respect each other. We need to develop that respect, that love, that genuine care for each other again in TNT. This numbness we feel with regards to death has to disappear, We need to really care about each other and show respect to other road users and not feel as drivers we own the road and we're driver-centric as the word is.
But is it that we have too many cars on the road?
And that's an interesting question, a very good question, because if you look at the statistical information, TNT is one of the countries in the world that per capita
we have more cars than anybody else.
More cars than any other country in the world. So that's a very good question.
And one of the things that has come up in the discussions, again, and Arrive Alive is part of that, is raising the age limit of persons eligible for driving. Is that something under consideration?
I don't think so, and I would not advocate for that, simply because if you again look at statistical data, the majority of people dying are 25 to 45. 50% of our deaths are not new drivers. Obviously, we need to have a more robust examination that encourages risk management. Defensive driving should be mandatory within our licensing system.
This is what. So do you think that defensive driving course should in fact be part and parcel of the whole aspect of obtaining a driver's license?
Absolutely.
Sharon,
but the statistics, I want to repeat that. 25 to 45, mainly men. So that, again, we don't go on gut at Arrive Alive. We've done our research. We rely on the statistical data. We've been to courses, IRF courses, UN, WHO courses, workshops. We're part of the global network of road safety NGOs. So this statistic is different to other parts of the world where new drivers are the ones dying. We do have some new drivers dying on the roads, but it's mainly
by and large,
drivers
it's
between 25 and 45
And it's good that you
old.
talk about the looking at the world statistics. On Sunday, we in fact celebrate the World Remembrance Day for persons for road victim fatalities. And Arrive Alive is part of that locally as well. What is in store for us come Sunday?
So on Sunday, again, we want to take back the roads and show respect to the vulnerable road users. So we have a walk and ride around the savannah that starts at 7 o'clock. We encourage all families who have injured loved ones, who have had family members who have died to come out and walk for them. Walk and ride or run. We have a website, Arrive Alive website, and we have a race roster, and our telephone number is 675-LIVE. At 6 o'clock, we do long distance rides from the Savannah to Piarco, from the Larry Gomes Stadium to the Savannah, and from the National Cycling Center to the Savannah at 6 a.m. All of this is about respect for vulnerable road users, realizing they have a right to our roads as runners, as cyclists, as pedestrians, and to be less car-centric. If you're out on Sunday, as a driver, please reduce your speed to 30 kilometers an hour and give 3 feet to these cyclists who deserve every right to be out there.
Sharon, I noticed there's nothing down in South.
Well, that's why the South Ride joins the Central Ride, because we would love to do it in Tobago as well, but we need the resources. As you know, as an NGO, all of this costs us a lot of money, a lot of begging goes into it, so it's very difficult to be everywhere. We would love to have it throughout Tobago as well, and if anybody's listening to the program and lives in Tobago and wants to get involved, please do call me personally. We would love to have a Tobago leg, we would love to have a South leg get more involved. It's a lot of hard work, but there's a lot of give back.
And on behalf of all of us here at Altos, we really like to commend you and Arrive Alive and all those who have been past presidents as well for the work that you all have been doing, and we really want to commend you for that. Thanks very much for joining us today, Sharon, and we look forward to hearing some better news about our road fatalities in the
Thank you so very much for having us on your program.
Okay, thanks. Last week we spoke about the success of Catholic secondary schools in the Football League. This week we turn to some swimming, and we offer congratulations to the St. Mary's College swim team on winning the 2024 Tidal Wave Secondary Schools Swim Meet. The event was held last weekend at the Aquatic Center in Balmain, Couva, and 40 boys and girls schools competed for top honors. CIC emerged the top school overall with 248.5 points in all the events. In second place, with just 2 points behind, was St. Joseph's Convent, Port of Spain, followed by Hillview College, Fatima, and QRC. CIC also won multiple other awards, both as a group and by individual students, including Champion School in the North Zone, Most Outstanding Male School, Top Non-Competitive Boys Team. We congratulate CIC and all the schools who took part in the meet. And now we take a look at this week's Catholic news.
In this week's issue of the Catholic News, the President of the U.S. Bishops' Conference responds to the news that Donald Trump has been elected the 47th President of the U.S., and experts share strategies to address bullying in a webinar hosted by the Office of Youth Ministry. I am Simone DeLuchan, Associate Editor of the Catholic News.
And that's a wrap for our show this week. We continue to urge you to pray. Pray for all. Pray for those on the roads this week as we remember World Remembrance Day for those victims of road fatalities. We leave you with some soothing steel pan music. The talented Luke Walker playing the Black Stallion classic Caribbean Man at Father Mark George's book launch. Just close your eyes and enjoy. Thanks for viewing.
Altos is brought to you with the kind compliments of Rituals Coffee House.